Uh-oh, we in. There's the jump in. Now the party is going to start. Jerry, oh, the spacing to do the was so good.
Oh, but yeah, your burst doesn't come back nearly in time. Here comes the super. Send him to the wall. 1080. Oh my god, it's just a pixel of life left.
And then we're covering the last character within my top 5. If you don't know, I've covered a lot of the top tiers, and I'm finally getting around to the big lad, Goldlewis, you chunky fella. I think he's in the top 5 position, directly in the 5th position of strength. Such an interesting character to look at, because if you look at his buffs and nerfs from most recent patch, they don't really seem like anything insane. They seem very nothing burgery, but I want to cut that assumption and tell you why he is strong in this patch. Looking at tournament results and within the ranked pool, he is very high up for results, having 3 offline major appearances within the most recent tournaments, one being an Evo, Combo Breaker, and of course VSF, where I got to commentate. Very often you'll see this character within a top 8 of a tournament, both online or offline, but the thing I really want to know is that when looking at his ranked wins, he is in the top 5 perfectly. My agenda keeps getting better and better. He sits with a 51%, maybe 52% win rate compared to the rest of the roster, placing him in a very high position, where Goldlewis is a huge winner from the most recent patch. But let's get into the nitty-gritty of why Goldlewis is strong within this patch, and guys, after this video, it's gonna be Tokon time, bro. It's gonna be Tokon time! His neutral is stronger in this patch, that goes without saying. Despite the fact Drone got hit in a way where it's like, doesn't go as far, it's still a good option to utilize. The main reason why his neutral got stronger is that Goldlewis struggled about catching backdashes. If he caught a backdash, his reward was very minuscule. However, tools like 2K becoming more active, / having a better horizontal blowback, and of course 2S just becoming a real button, allows him to confirm into 684 and get a knockdown, making these normals really good at catching backdashes in neutral. And of course on wake up, you're always going to get a knockdown. So this was a huge change for Goldlewis, making him a bit more consistent for calling out defensive actions in neutral. That is one of the huge changes. I look at that as one of the key changes why he is strong in this patch. Looking at the minigun, it's still good. It's still a really good call out. If he's going up against set play or something silly like that, he has an interruption tool to gun you down and stop you from getting away. It's good. It's just really good. But in terms of neutral, he still struggles against characters that can outpoke him like Ram or Pot. So that's something he still needs to be careful about, despite the fact his neutral did get a lot better. And looking at his offense, he may not have the best 50-50 like Potemkin or the safest offense like Ramlethal, but he is very close for having his own league of offense. Of course, he has very great stagger options against defenders, where he could go for high Behemoth that's plus, low Behemoth that's plus, and of course 268, a mid Behemoth that's a decent frame trap and also plus. And what makes these behemoths so scary is that if they land, of course they're going to lead to a knockdown and even more pressure afterwards, but what makes them even better is that on block they deal damage. If the opponent isn't FDing, they take a lot of damage on block, and if they do FD, they lose a lot of meter, meaning they can't do a YRC or super to retaliate. Not to mention, if one of these behemoths are blocked and he's able to set up a BRC during it, like if you block one of the really plus ones, it is now a fuzzy high-low, where you need to defend it based on like just being on the money. You can't do reaction plays, you just need block high or low and that's it. It's an instant overhead or a low. And if he connects, he gets a combo, a knockdown, and we're back into the same scenario as he's able to run that pressure again. His offense is very brutal against people who just want to block up. And of course, not to mention, if he manages to land a hit during any of these offensive sequences, the damage is high. He's one of the higher damaging characters within this patch. He's able to delete your health bar off of 2 or 3 interactions. So yeah, he's got really good high-lows, he's got great pressure, but if he gets you, oh god, if he gets you, you are dead, sunshine. His offense is good, but with a good mash out or a clean backdash, you're able to avoid a lot of this. But if you're not on the money, you will take a lot of damage, so practice this. This is something you need to sit in training for. You gotta just do it in the moment. And lastly, his defense. It's nothing special, but he does have some key things about his defense where I look at it and go like, yeah, that's good. 2P being an amazing mash out. Obviously, it doesn't link into itself like most 2Ps or 5Ps, but being able to do 2P into 684 is very good. You get a knockdown and it's safe. Not to mention his 2P is basically an anti-air. This tool is really good at mashing out both grounded and aerial opponents. This elbows cut so many chins is probably stinking a drool. Mix that with his 2K, a decent 7 frame options that is amazing as an Abari because it's active for 6 frames, links into 684 so safe on block and of course a knockdown on hit. Not to mention that it's a low, meaning if you try to walk back and try to go for a shimmy play or something a bit more defensive to call out a defensive action from Goldlewis, he's going to catch you walking back with a low and get a knockdown. Besides that, Goldlewis's defense isn't that amazing. He has to rely on a lot of the universal mechanics to escape, like super on defense or being able to use YRC to get out. But a lot of his defense will rely on key mashes and getting out with a poke. But one thing that cannot be forgotten is certainly his health pool. He's in the top 3 for tankiest characters in the game if you exclude something like Mana or Nagoriyuki's funny health system. Making him stand out in this patch is you'll always come across resources more often as the opponent, either getting more burst or meter just due to living longer. That's what it comes down to. Goldlewis is strong without a doubt, but there are some things that you can abuse about the matchup that can make it better for you depending on the character you play. For example, anyone with a good degree of poking can keep him spaced out. For example, Potemkin and Ramlethal are amazing at this, both using their // and JS buttons to keep him at bay. He has to get very committal to winning neutral. So if your character has these types of pokes, I think Leo Whitefang is a key example of that, or Kai Kisuke, it can be very nice fighting Goldlewis. You can just kind of keep him at bay for the most part and he has to play committal to get in. If he gets caught earlier on in the match and we're no longer in neutral, he has to rely on a lot of key mashes and of course universal mechanics to escape. Meaning if you find your opportunity to run offense, you should run it. You have so much time to do what you want until he gets that bar a meter, so go wild until then. And Behemoths, despite the fact they're scary, are backdashable if you're on the money. Either on reactions or making guesstimates will actually get you out of a lot of pressure. I recommend doing this on the very reactable Behemoths. For example, this large overhead, this like a 30 frame startup. You get good at backdashing this, then you've got a good escape on those very flowcharty Goldlewis's. But on the other ones, it's pretty guesstimate. Like, you need to kind of guess. You can react to one of them, I think the low for example, but you've got to be so on the money for the backdash. You mistime it, it's a combo. And if you're someone that's playing a DP character, well, Goldlewis needs to play super committal to call out your DP, so make use of that. Try to go for like a 2k wake up sometimes, because you'll catch him try to look for a DP. And if he does a safe jump, mash 2k afterwards. Like I said, you find many avenues to run offense, because he is trying to bait DP1. He struggles against it. Leo Whitefang's pretty good at the Goldlewis for this reason. Goldlewis is definitely strong in this patch. He's in my top 5 for a reason, because I just think he does so well with the universal mechanics, and the fact that his neutral got better makes him a menace. And we're seeing the chunky fella in every tournament, so that's another thing to keep in mind. Despite the fact he lost White Wild Assault and how insane his drone was, he stands out because his buttons actually work now. Goldlewis in my mind, top 5, just in that top 5, just right there. And that is why you're going to be seeing a lot more of him until we see another balance patch. He's good and he's going to stand out. But if you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to like, hype and sub and tell me what you think about Goldlewis. Do you agree with my viewpoint or do you think another person takes that top 5 position? For me, it's Ram, Leo, Nago, Potemkin, and Goldlewis. That's my top 5, but I'd love to hear what you think. That's it for today's video, and Tokan comes out real soon, and I'm probably going to be streaming, so hop on the Patriarch Panda Twitch, and I'll catch you guys there as I'm running Magneto, and maybe a character, depending if I'm allowed to talk about it, but not right now. See ya.